After 42 years in photography, I can tell you something that will probably surprise you. The biggest thing that makes someone a better photographer is not usually the camera, it's not usually the lens, and it's not usually the settings. They're the things nobody talks about. And if you're struggling right now, feeling behind, or wondering if you're ever going to make it, this is the video for you. So let's get started. I've spent 42 years behind the camera. I have photographed people, portraits, weddings, events, presidents of the United States, real pressure and real moments. I shot in the film days, I shot in the digital days, I shot back when things moved at a lot slower pace, like shooting medium format for weddings in the 90s. We'd only take 150 to 200 shots because we were using film, 645 format film. It's very expensive. Not compared to today's prices, but still expensive back then. I've watched photography go from something that moved at a much slower pace to something that's absolutely ridiculously fast-paced. It's faster, it's louder, and it's a lot more crowded. And after all that time, there are a few things that I know for sure. Great photography is not about having the newest gear. I've watched for years for photographers chasing new cameras, new lens, the next feature, and the latest upgrade. And a lot of them still don't like their pictures and cannot figure out why they don't like their pictures. Well, the answer to why is gear can improve convenience. It can improve speed, and it can improve reliability. But there's some things that your camera can't do now, nor will a camera ever be able to do. Your camera does not replace light, composition, timing, expression, and connection with your client. And that connection with your client is something that a camera will never be able to do. There will never be a button on your camera. Connect with your client. One of probably the most important thing that's overlooked, and no camera is ever going to do that. That's going to have to come from experience and learning, working with others. No way around it. I've seen photographers do amazing work with very simple gear, and I've seen photographers do really bad work with really great gear. And that's because photography, as I've said on the channel a lot, is more about seeing than buying. You've got to see the picture. You can't just buy it. After 42 years of photography, I can tell you a real photographer who's someone can work in all conditions. And let me tell you, if you do a wedding every weekend for an entire year, to work in great conditions, maybe one time you'll have a perfect wedding in 52 weeks in a year, maybe one time, where everything just goes absolutely perfect. And even that can be stretching it. A real photographer is someone who knows what to do when things go wrong. And believe me, they will go wrong. You're going to have bad light. You're going to have bad weather. You're going to have upset family members at a wedding. You're going to be working in tight spaces. You're going to have ugly backgrounds, very nervous subjects, working on a very tight timeline. Now, this will cover all photography. I will refer to weddings a lot, but it covers all types of photography. Now, those things I just mentioned, that's real photography. It's not having the brand new Lumix or Canon, whatever it may be. It's being able to handle those issues and know what to do with them. And that comes from learning, working with another photographer, studying, practicing, learning to see. I always mention learning to see because everything about photography is how you can see it. Once you see it, you can photograph it. And that's the difference between a professional photographer and just somebody with a camera, is being able to see it and capture it. What makes somebody a professional photographer is not perfection. It's the ability to solve problems, stop situations before they even happen, and always staying calm no matter what happens. Because, again, referring to a wedding, people are looking at you. For some reason, the photographer takes everything at the wedding. You're in charge of everything, even if you're not. I know there's wedding directors, there's a minister, not cutting down on any of them, but for some reason, every wedding, when something happens, they look at the photographer. That's just something I've noticed over 42 years. I'm sure a lot of you guys can say the same thing and agree with me. People matter more than cameras, and this is something young photographers really need to learn, is it's all about people and connections. It's about being human and understanding humanity and being able to capture it, waiting on it, expecting something to happen, waiting for it, and catching it when nobody else even knows it's happening. Little things that you can catch with the bride and groom that they don't even know they're going to do. You can catch that in between shots. Then you're going to have pictures that nobody else has. That's why they hire you to do a wedding, so you get these cool pictures and all the important ones to go along with it. You can know all your settings, you can have sharp images, and you can own great lenses. But if you don't know how to make somebody feel comfortable, if you don't know how to direct them, I do this for people's heads tilt models that I work with. They know what all these hand signals mean. If you don't know how to make people trust you, then your photos are always going to fall flat. No matter how good you are at changing settings in the camera, they're going to fall flat for that reason. Some of the strongest images I ever got were not because I used the greatest gear. It was because I had the perfect timing. President I shot of George H. Bush when he was vice president for Ronald Reagan. He was looking at some special steer, something that was worth like $500,000. And I saw him looking at it funny, and he reached up to scratch his head, and I have this very cool picture. I have to find it and show it to you guys one day, where he's scratching his head looking at this $500,000 cow or whatever it was. And that was a really cool picture. People loved it. I gave those out, and I signed them. That was just kind of something I thought was kind of a once-in-a-lifetime thing to do. But I had to anticipate that coming. It wasn't just, it wasn't one of the shots on somebody handing me a list and said, oh, get President Bush as he scratches his head as he's looking at this $500,000 cow. Most photographers quit too early. They think I'm not good enough, or other people are just better than I am, or maybe I just don't have it. Maybe I don't have what it takes. Maybe somebody else does. Maybe I just don't have what it takes to be. But photography takes time. It takes a lot of time, a lot of repetition. It takes mistakes. And I've mentioned the other day, you guys, if you missed the videos, when you're taking pictures and you're going through everything, you always take your bad pictures that you don't like and you trash them immediately or get them out of the way. You can get them out of the way, but keep them, because there's more to learn from a bad image than there is from a good image. You can always go back and scroll through all those bad images when you have time and say, how could I have made that picture better? Is this bad because of light? Was my timing bad? What caused this to be a bad picture? And why did it not go into my good file of pictures? To be a photographer, it takes some weak shoots, some strong shoots, and some confusing shoots. And believe me, at weddings, you're going to get some confusing shoots because people get confused. People are nervous. That's one thing about wedding photography, is you've really got to be on top of it. And I'll say it once again, never go do a wedding if you haven't spent at least a year working with another photographer. Just know, and I don't care if you know your camera 110% what every button does, do not go to a wedding without previously helping with a wedding or shooting with another photographer. It's a whole different beast, and I don't want to see you get sued or have a bride and groom get really angry because you messed up their pictures on their wedding day. But eventually, if you stay with photography, if you keep the practicing and you keep the repetition, you'll see something change. You'll start seeing light faster. You'll start fixing backgrounds without even thinking. You'll start directing people more naturally. You'll just feel, it'll just come to you, it just clicks. And you'll stop guessing so much. You won't have to guess what's going to happen. It just comes with time and repetition. It's just not something you can sit down and read a book one night and the next day go out and do the job. It takes lots of practice. I shot for 42 years. This is year number 43 or so, something like that. And I still learn something every day, because everything always changes. There's always new technology, new this, new that, new software. There's always something new to learn. So you're never going to know everything about photography, but you need to know how to do what you need to do. If you're doing events, if you're doing weddings, you're doing models, you need to master those specific lines of photography. And when you can stop guessing so much, that's when photography starts feeling less random. And that moment usually comes later than most people expect. But it will come, I promise. If you stick with it, it will happen. There's been different points in my career where it's almost like something clicked. After a year or two of working on something, all of a sudden you just, boom, all of a sudden it just hits you. You're like, oh, I got it. It's crazy. But that's what happened to me, and I've talked to other photographers, and they kind of have the same issue. So just keep working at it, I promise. I'm not the smartest guy in the world. If I can do photography for this long, you can do it and learn it too. I guarantee you that. One thing with being a photographer, being right along with being able to see, we need to see the difference, is we must be consistent. You can't be having a great model shoot on Monday and another great shoot on Tuesday, and then Wednesday it drops down to a terrible photo shoot, and Thursday you're back to average, and Friday you're average again, and Saturday you're back on top. You can't be inconsistent. You must be consistent. You don't have to be consistently great. You just have to be consistently good. Consistently keeping your clients happy. Now, I'm not saying you can just want to be average and stay around average. You always want to get better, but you just need to be consistent at your level before you start charging, before you start shooting. You don't have to be the greatest wedding photographer in the world. In fact, when you start, you won't be the greatest photographer in the world. Consistent photography. If you can show a client pictures of what their expecting, and then you can deliver that. That is consistency. Consistency is so very important. So work toward being consistent to be a great photographer. Not every shoot feels magical. Not every photo session feels creative. And not every image is your best work. But consistency will keep you in business. You'll keep getting stronger, keep paying attention. You'll get better and better. And eventually things will just start happening and you won't even realize you're doing them. That's when you know that it's kicked in. Photography rewards consistency probably more than anything else, because if you can do a job consistently good, that is what is needed. Consistently good. Somebody can say they had a birthday party photographer, and they say, oh, this guy was fantastic. And then somebody else said, oh, I hired him too. It was terrible. That's not consistency. You want your people to say, oh, Daniel did the shoot. He did a great job. And another person, if they knew me too, oh yeah, he's wonderful. He did a great job. Consistency is the key. That's what you want, because consistency brings referrals. Referrals brings clients. Clients brings money, and money keeps you in business for 42 years. After 42 years, the biggest thing photography gave me wasn't the awards, not the equipment, and not even the business side. It was the ability to notice things more deeply through the camera, to be able to see. You've got to see what's going on. It was the ability to notice light, people, moments, expressions, and emotions. If you can capture those, kind of like my George H. Bush picture, it's kind of an emotion shot with him scratching his head going, probably, why does this thing cost so much? That's what was going through my head. So you want to be able to capture those things. That is important. You don't just want a list of capture the president with this cow, capture this president beside the cow. That's not what you want. You want the in-between pictures. That's what's going to make it good. What nobody is expecting and you can deliver, that gives you the advantage. And if you can do that consistently by learning to see, you're going to be good to go. I promise. Photography teaches you to pay attention, because if you don't, you're not going to last long. And once you learn it, it changes everything. And it may be the greatest gift that this craft of photography gives us, and that is the ability to see. So if you're feeling behind right now and you're feeling frustrated, if your pictures aren't where you want them to be yet, I want to tell you that after 42 years of doing this myself, you don't need to know everything today. You don't need the perfect camera. You don't need the perfect lens. You don't need to look like a pro overnight. You just need to keep learning how to see and how to solve problems, and then stay with it and be consistent. It'll click, and I guarantee you, you'll have a career that will take off and you'll love it, because photography is an amazing career to be in. Is it hard? Yes. Can it be stressful? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, it is one of the, if not, it is my favorite profession, because you can see I can look back over 42 years and say, wow, I can look at my stuff I shot my first few years and go, ooh, that's trash that summer. That's really bad. So you can watch your progression as you go. But just something about looking back after you've worked on something so hard and you've seen it become a profession and work for you, and it'll work for you too if you just do these simple things. It may not work tomorrow, it may not work next week or even next year, but if you stay at it, practice, learn to see, be consistent, it will work. I promise you that. The greatest photographers are the ones who stayed the longest and never gave up. They didn't start out easy. They didn't start out with the ability to see. They didn't start out with the ability to catch emotion. They started out learning to see and looking, starting from scratch. Everything you can learn about people. You can learn all you want about this camera. You have to know people. That's where the difference comes in. Unless you're just photographing candles or something, I don't know. There's all kinds of different types of photography. But even then, you're going to have somebody that you're going to be dealing with who's in charge. If you're just doing product photography, like some special candle, there's going to be somebody for you to deal with. Very rarely are you going to be in any situation where you're not going to have to deal with a person. That's why it's so important to be able to work with people. Well, thank you guys for your time today. If you are learning, if you've been going a few years, no matter what, if you have any questions, please drop me a message down at the bottom or drop me an email. My email is listed so that if you don't want to write some at the bottom, you can write it to me in an email. We'll be glad to help you answer any of your questions and help you out any way we can, anything in photography. If I don't know the answer, I've got people on our site that have more experience than I do. We'll figure it out together. And don't worry, there's no question that's too stupid to ask, because I've already asked all the stupid questions. So I've got that covered for you. Guys, I appreciate your time more than you know. If we can help you at all, we certainly will. You guys have a great day. Thank you.